The year's 2024. Pedalboards have been around for nearly 50 years now. I don't think actually there's been tons of innovation in the world of the pedalboard. There are a few recent things, recent-ish, that I wanted to mention that maybe might help you if you're one of these people that is addicted to pedals, loves building boards. These are three things that I reckon that you should know about. I'm going to play some guitar and then I'll show you these three things that I think you should know about if you're building pedal boards in 2024.
This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses.
What are the things that matter on a board? I guess portability, power, because these days there's a lot of things that have been brought to pedal boards which require way more power than ever in the past. And then one other thing is that I quite like the idea that a pedal board is no longer so much a fixed thing, but actually subject to change, and to be able to actually accommodate fluctuation in gear and things that change from gig to gig potentially.
So this is the D'Addario Expand, and what makes this unique really is that you can essentially adjust this. Pull those bits out, and then this little part here can be extended. It's an extender, and so your mini board, or they do a slightly bigger board than this, can be adjusted to accommodate different pedals. And this is a thing that has kind of frustrated me in the past, where it's like, right, well, for whatever project I'm on, I kind of need a smaller board, or I need a bigger board. This is an innovation that I think is worth knowing about, particularly for this kind of thing where it's like, right, this is like the main thing that I'm going to use, but I want to add something else. Just a simple, clever idea. There's a little bit of a limited space underneath the smaller board, so if you're looking to know which power supplies will fit it, I'm going to flash that up on the at the kind of more budget end of this stuff. Of course, we've got, it's pedal boards. You can spend as much or as little as you like on this sort of stuff. Harley Benton, I think, makes some pretty good stuff. Now this has been a pedal board that I've you can see that I am very much not good at building pedal boards, but this has been a bit of a game changer for me. I'll take the H90 off. That was for one particular gig. As you can see here, the power board, all of the power is built in, and crucially this one here, you can see there's a 24 volt line as well as a 9 volt 1000 milliamps. Right, so you can literally power an HX Stomp off of this. And not only that, but it's essentially battery powered, right? So you don't have to even have it plugged in. Let me put an HX Stomp on there. So back here, you'll see there's an on and off button. So if I turn on the HX Stomp and then we turn on this button, got a bit of an indicator here which tells you kind of roughly whether you need to start charging it. Of course, you won't actually see that from the stage, which is a bit of a not ideal setup. You've got USB output as well if you need to charge your phone. But you can see it's giving you your current draw and voltage. But what's really cool about that is that, say you had like a festival stage that you need to get on and off quickly, you don't need to even plug it in power wise. It's just powered by lithium battery. That will last a couple of hours for me with this particular setup, but for the sake of kind of being careful, I tend to play with it plugged in, so you can keep it in the bag in this little front pocket. You can just power it with like this kind of power supply and just plug it in. Like so, and you know, keep it charged as you're playing a gig. I've had one problem with it where basically I thought that this was plugged in and turned on, so I wasn't worrying about how much charge it had, but it was on one of those plugs, you know, where you could got individual switches on it, and it wasn't actually turned on. So at that point then, I think we were playing Mamma Mia. About halfway through Mamma Mia, it stopped playing. The next song was Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. It was a bit of a I had to kind of sit out for the start of Don't Stop Me Now, which was okay. I got it charged enough where I could turn it back on and leave it plugged into charge by the time the solo came around. I think we got there for the second verse, so that was okay. But I think this is something we're maybe going to be starting to see more of, where the power supply is actually built into the pedal board itself rather than having to be attached underneath. I think that's a significant innovation that I really appreciate. I think we could do with more of. But yeah, that's kind of how I'm using it at the moment. You see, it's actually, you know, quite a lot of real estate that I'm not using, of course. But you know, I think that is a really clever board. They do make smaller ones, but I wanted this one so that I could actually power the HX Stomp. I think that's another innovation that's going to be coming, you know, things that can power stuff like a Quad Cortex, HX Stomp, etc. I think Chuck's one of the guys that are innovating in that space, Walrus Audio as well. But yeah, leave your other favourite power supplies below. If there are other, you know, pedalboard innovations that you think I should know about and other folks should know about, please feel free to share them in the comments. This thing is pretty awesome, and I think it's going to warrant its own video. This one here belongs to Ryan Davey, and he asked if I wanted to check out his pedal board, and then he kind of brought this out of his car and started wheeling it along. So it's essentially like a normal suitcase type vibe, right? So if you're a traveling guitarist, you know, someone who needs to tour, that sort of thing, this is incredibly useful as like hold on luggage, that sort of thing. If you don't need to use your allowance to take a pair of boxes or whatever. But then you can unclip these boys and then just rock up onto, you know, festival stages, that sort of thing. This is just fantastic, as well as being something that actually could be a really neat way to store your pedal board. Say if you I don't know, have limited space, or if you set up a rig sometimes in your living room, that sort of thing. I need to get into a bit more detail on this, but it looks somewhat like one of the Warwick type rock board things, and has the input, output, you know, stereo outputs there, so that's worth knowing about. I'll try and flash up on the screen what the underside looks like, because I don't want to take apart Ryan's. I think it looks like it's kind of fixed with coins to the bottom to keep it nice and sturdy. If there's any negative to this, I guess if one of these cables broke on the gig, getting under that board and taking out 4 screws is probably not ideal, but a really tidy solution and really pro looking, I think. I'm surprised that more people don't really talk about this, because it's, I think, a really neat solution.